Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Pyre Community RITE Night, which means, of course, some good old-fashioned multiplayer Pyre, featuring first and foremost none other than the members of the RITE Club Discord server, the place for all things multiplayer Pyre. And if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then look no further, because you can join said Discord group as soon as I track it. Hold on. It's like, I know that I have a link for it somewhere around here. I think I just found it. You can join said Discord group by clicking on... I think it's that link. I hope it's that link. Let me just quickly check here. I think that's it. That looks right. Something like that. Well, anyways, those of you in chat, you are not off the hook. No, because you can request things like selecting players' exiles, masteries, songs, arenas, Titan stars, archetypes, all that stuff is fair game. So, without further ado, let's hop into versus mode here. Set us up for our default settings like so. I will hop into said Discord group and let me know if there is anything, if there's anyone who would like to get in, first of all, I suppose, and then secondly, if there is anything we would like to do setup wise for our first match. How's everybody doing? And, you know, if necessary, as always, I can hop in as one of the two players if we have one person, but need a second still. Although, generally, like to try to give preference to those of you in chat who would like to get in. So just let me know if anyone would like to get us started today. Don't yet have anything planned for our first match, but of course, as always, that is potentially subject to change. Or I suppose, you know, we could always have our soft start and just see what kind of nonsense we can get up to with some infinite curves. Or have we theorized a little bit in the recent past as to whether there were any other somewhat similar setups, at least thematically similar setups, that would also take an insanely long amount of time for the CPUs to finish a CPU versus CPU match. This may have still had a fairly prominent Kerr aspect to them, but I think people were talking about doing things like Crone with Stubborn Flame, understandably, of course, can reduce the amount of damage that one of the players does. Leech, which I think... can't remember how many times we've actually done the Infinite Curse thing. We've done it twice now, at least on stream. And the second time, I did throw on Leeching Talismans. So that also is a way in which you can extend the duration. Obviously, Rekindling Saps as well. All the things that can either reduce the amount of damage you deal, increase the amount of healing that you get, or just increase your maximum amount of Pyre life, or, you know, Rekindling, which is functionally just a different way of formatting the same thing. Although I do think that the key thing about the curves is not so much the amount of pyre life or leeching that they have, it's that the CPU just never actually scores with them. So to an extent, it's almost as if the amount of pyre life that either team has is a moot point. If no one ever scores, then it doesn't matter. So in some ways, I think that despite it maybe appearing as though theoretically adding Stubborn Flame, Rekindling, more Leech to the equation, it might seem like that would extend the duration of the match if it's CPU versus CPU. But I think as soon as you start introducing other types of characters that the CPU is more capable of playing effectively, offensively at least, the more likely that, okay, suddenly it's going to look more like a legitimate match. So I know SAP's CPU generally is not very good at managing those, so maybe that wouldn't accelerate the match too much, if at all, in that case. But the Crohn's, I'm more skeptical about that. What's up, Spheres? How's it going?
Pretty good. About you?
Doing all right. Let me just check. So obviously we just got Spheres in on Discord. I can get Spheres in-game as well. Do we have anyone who would like to play against Spheres here, or are we in need of a second person? If we are, then I could potentially be that second person, but I don't want to jump in line in front of someone else. If we do have anyone who is keen on getting in. Not immediately seeing anyone, though. Maybe I will log in the controller. Give me just a second here. Nothing seems to be... Oh, am I tabbed in? I'm not tabbed in. That would explain why nothing is happening. Although, still. Wait, was that you or was that me? No, that's you.
It's me. I'm
player one. Usually I should at least be able to change the bumpers if I'm player 2, so that's a little strange. 1 second. Huh?
The controller is not assigned on remote play?
What the heck? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, now you player 2 apparently.
Okay, now it's doing what I would have expected it to do. Okay, that's a little funky, but I think we're back in business now. Alright, so which...
Now I'm not player 1. I'm not anything.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure. I just tried.
Steam Remote Play seems to think otherwise, but this is me on the bumpers, changing player 2. I can't move my cursor, which would suggest that I'm not player 1.
I can't move my cursor either.
What if you do bumpers?
With the bumpers. Nothing moves working.
Wow. What is going on, Steam Remote? For what it's worth, this has often been the case as of late.
Player 2 in the bottom.
Yeah, let me just try switching you around here. I did have some Steam updates today, which has become a regular occurrence that may or may not... I mean, this would be a very... I don't think this would be the cause of Steam Remote Play updates. I doubt it. More so, that tends to be just preventing people from getting in the first place. No improvements there?
Nope. Just, I leave.
Yeah,
let's just... controller still work.
Let's just try this again.
You have to be player 1 with your controller before inviting me, I think.
Oh, is that so now?
We had a similar issue with iRotor a few days ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so I've set myself as player 1. Now we'll get you in. This is me now, moving the cursor. It says you're player 3, which may be fine. That's you? What the heck? Now I
Can you
can't do anything. Steam! What the heck? Now I'm player 3.
Just restart Pyre.
My
what we
goodness. I mean, we saw the before and after. For a second, I was player 1, you were player 3. Then we looked back and suddenly we flip-flopped. Well, what's the deal with that? Alright, let's try this again, shall we? Out of curiosity. Right now, with only me, it says I'm player 1. That makes sense, one would think.
And you can move your controller normally, right?
I can move, I think I was. Yep, I'm moving my controller. Everything suggests that I'm truly player 1 at the moment. But then, if we get you in, what happens? It at least initially says I'm player 1, you're player 2. Again, this would seem to make sense. This is me moving the cursor. That's you changing the triumvirate. This seems, dare I say, normal. I'm cautiously optimistic. Alright, well maybe we don't have any requests from chat at the moment. Maybe we just do a match here and verify that the game is actually working.
Cool.
Maybe that's the first step.
I bid you welcome, exiles. You are gathered at the spring of Jomir. Here you may step closer to achieving freedom. The stars themselves shall be your witnesses. Pyre heart, stand prepared. The essence, stand ready.
Alright, so first test. Can I move my cursor around here? Yes. Okay, that's a good sign. It's a good starting point, at least. And you move on this screen. Okay, that's also a good sign. Oh.
Exile.
Choosing chaos, I see. How interesting. How very interesting.
Tizo. Exile.
Now that is particularly interesting, because that does mean that in the bottom lane on your end, we will have Gareth. And in the bottom lane on my end, we will have... No, we'll also have Gareth.
Exile.
Fine, he's going for it. So can Singularity Chaos... Alright, now, are we controlling the correct teams? That is the next question.
Now
Yeah.
It seems like it. Okay, I think we're good.
A flame is stricken. Oh. There.
Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Nor was that.
There it is. Neither triumvirate is closer than
Excuse
the
me,
other.
sir. Please don't do that. What happens if I'm flying as you do the can singularity? I'm realizing I'm not really sure how much that affects things.
How comical. No law against throwing in the orb. The Pyre hearts are now favored to
Not gonna lie, I was. Oh my goodness! That was the black magicest of all black magic jumps. That was insane.
brightly than the other. 'Twas but a little splash. Now to the flame.
Excuse me? I asked for a second jump for Christmas, and I did not receive it. And this makes me sad.
Tiso doused them higher. That's it.
Oh. Well, that was too slow.
I'm clicking the wrong
Douse
button.
flame. Your victory is at hand.
That's also not gonna work, I'm afraid. How dare you try to taunt me with a salute? I saw that, and I did not appreciate it.
That was not intentional.
Sure it wasn't. I don't believe you.
There goes the heart. To it, and it is
GG.
GG.
the Pyre hearts prevail. The scribes themselves surely have taken note.
Well played, Spheris.
Thus end this night's proceedings.
Alright, well we'll head on back, and I think we've established that Pyre is working as intended,
Right.
to the extent that we can ever say that. So let us know if there is anything you guys would like to see for the next one, and also let us know if anyone wants to get in. I'm happy to swap out. I'm just mostly filling in. Oh, and also, oops. Well, that was me as the Pyre Hearts and Spheris as the Essence. I'm now realizing that I forgot to put our names in. One
We're
moment.
too preoccupied with the game.
We did. Well, I guess before I update all that stuff, let me know, as I just said, if anyone wants to take my spot, I'm happy to swap out and make room for you to face off against Spheris. If not, then I'll start entering in our information here. Spheris, it is safe to enter his name here. I think it is safe to say Spheris is sticking around. As for whether you guys want to kick out this Lids dude, that's a different question. But seeing no one expressing interest at the moment, I suppose I'll hang out for at least a little bit longer here. So let us know if there is anything you guys would like to see us do for the next one. Otherwise, we could just go with whatever here. Oh, let me turn that off. Not seeing any requests right now, though, so why don't we hop back in, see where we end up.
The Pyre hearts shall now face the essence.
Iroder needs a quick break from math, so I'll join for a bit. I mean, you could hop in right now if you want to, Iroder. You could take my spot at this precise moment, or if you need a few minutes, then we could do one more match, Spheris and I, and then we can get you in after that. Before I select this exile, I will await your response. I suppose it means you would be playing at least one match as the Pyre Hearts, which may be a deal breaker for you in that case. Iroder's like, what? Absolutely not. Unacceptable.
Right now.
Right now works? Let me do.
Well,
Let me get you an invite then.
Fine.
Oh, so admittedly, I heard right now.
also
I didn't hear what you
control
said
as well.
before right now.
I need a break right now.
Oh, you need a break right now. Okay, exactly the opposite of what I heard in that case. No worry. Oh, wait, no, but you need a
to
break for the math.
Wasted, like 1 hour, so like I need to calm down.
Okay. Let me get you in. Sorry. Okay. This is now going to be rotor. Okay. Good. One moment while I very loudly place my controller on the table. Okay. Let's just double check. Is this in fact iRotor?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I'll also take keyboard from Pyre for me.
Oh, sure. Oh, yes. For a second I thought I was doing that to Spheres. Okay, so it's Luminous Idol Dulbert in the first spot for iRotor. Speedy Raji in the first spot for Spheres. Speedy Vizpaleth in the second spot for iRotor. Prayer Beads Gareth is Spheres' second selection. Banishing Throw Ulmer will be in iRotor's last spot. Whereas Spheres will take an Exploding Snadra. So here we go. Our first match of the day between iRotor and Spheres. No requests in this one, both players just taking their preferred teams. And that is iRotor getting us started with a 20 damage throw. That one coming from Ulmer. Here's Spheres applying some pressure, gets a dangerous portal. And yes, is using that to continue to apply that pressure. Portal is still there, but iRotor is aware of it, seemingly does have it covered. Now it has been reset. Vizpaleth trying to knock back some defenders with that jump, but instead it's Vizpaleth who goes down. Hip-hop and cur action from Dulbert, but he's banished. Just Vizpaleth back defensively, but that's enough for iRotor. Here is Vizpaleth, now in possession. Knocks back Snadra, but then gets blocked by Raji. Into lava she goes. So opportunity now for Spheres. Raji brings back Snadra. They both go down, but Spheres does have Sacred Bond, and in doing so, brings back both of those characters, and it's Raji with whom he plunges there. That was a quick move there from iRotor. Covered a lot of distance in the blink of an eye with Dulbert. A 20 damage plunge, but it does mean he's now gone in this round, although doesn't stop iRotor from following up with a 20 damage throw. Vizpaleth. Does eventually go down, and although Spheres did lose some characters in that exchange, can once again bring them back quickly with the Sacred Bond, and at least momentarily there, iRotor was defenseless, and that gave Spheres just enough time to throw that one in for 25 with Raji. Dulbert, not quick enough on that occasion. Ulmer tried to follow up, but he's banished as well. And enough of an opening there that Sferis is able to plunge in for 20 with Gareth, and Gareth had prayer beads, so he has returned. But then a loop around the Pyre from Iroder's Cur, and does result in a 20 damage plunge. It does also mean one score is potentially all Iroder needs, although at the moment Iroder is defenseless. So it's Sferis who scores here, dropping Iroder down to 40, meaning this is likely a 1-score game for Iroder, a 2-score game potentially for Sferis. Sferis, the one in possession. He's lost a couple of exiles here. Not a situation he wants to find himself in. Ooh, but well-timed response from Gareth.
Good.
Sferis moves in with Gareth. More black magic, but ever so close. Not close enough, though. Is Paleth. And Ulmer. Ulmer not quite enough time to charge up the throw. Oh, and Sferis still had Gareth hanging out next to the Pyre. Again, prayer beads on him. Oh no, that was Snapdrass. There's no prayer beads, so he's down one character in what will almost certainly be the decisive round, and nearly had the decisive score with Gareth. But down he goes. You can see from the portrait just how close it was. Banishing throws. Stalemate there, just trying to claim the orb. Oh, but ultimately, it is the black magic junk from Gareth. It is the decisive play. GG.
Extinguished there, but no. The rite is done.
Well played, you two. All right, well, let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And let us know if there is anything we'd like to see for the next one. Iroder, I know you said you're taking a break. I don't know how long you have, but you're welcome to
That's
stick around,
fine,
of course.
I have a bit.
Alright, not seeing any requests from chat. Let us know if we do have anything we're looking for. Otherwise, of course, we can always just leave it up to the players to go with whatever they'd like. We get back into the action here in that case.
The Pyre Hearts versus
This time,
the Essence. Welcome.
we shall see
Who shall
what
conduct
they
the
opt to
rites?
go for here. Ridge of Gold. It's a Luminous Idol, Dalbert, for Iroder.
Again.
Sferis is perhaps surprised by the prevalence of these curs. Now, I was saying it last week, maybe even the week before that, as we see the Speedy Raji there for Sferis. People have been critical of the effectiveness of the curs, and yet, despite that, we have seen people use them fairly regularly to decent success at that. Iroder perhaps being chief among those people, as he takes
It's more
Palette from the second
because
stall.
of that.
It's
Not
because
really
we
with the
criticize
spy.
them that we specifically try to make them work more.
Uh-huh.
They didn't want to give it a shot before I write a card.
I mean, it doesn't feel as though, just from the past match, for example, as we see another cur there, this time from Sferis, it doesn't feel as though it's glaringly obvious that the curs are lackluster. Maybe if you take a team full of curs, you lack a little bit of
Maybe triple
versatility there, but you know, and you could potentially say that of many classes.
Triple harp, and you put salute on all of them.
Right, there definitely are some classes where you can do triple and it still works, but I don't think that the viability of 3 of a kind of a given class is the determining factor for how good the class is overall. It's okay if a class can be a specialist and all you really need is one of them. I guess what I'm saying is, though, despite the criticism that curs have recently been receiving, maybe, and there's been, just to fill in some of the gaps here, there's been some talk of maybe modding in some kind of buff to the curs to level the playing field a little bit, but if that were to be the case, I don't know that it would have to be that dramatic of an improvement. Just a little boost could be enough to bring them on par with everyone else, at least roughly on par. As we get Web Lanthorn on a Crone in the last spot for Spheris. There's the Titan Tooth Stun, slowing down iRotor, giving Spheris a time to transition from defense into offense, but iRotor recovered in time to make that play, and plunges here, but with Stubborn Flame active, that is only a 10 damage score. Stubborn Flame immediately active because iRotor took the extra starting Pyre life on his demon, and there is another look at it, in case you missed it the first time. That was an interesting spin that Vorford went into after that play. Here's Barker. He'll zoom in for a 15 damage plunge. Delbert. Now back with Raji. Down he goes. So it'll be Delbert again, and no one back defensively at the moment for Spheris. So is there time for iRotor to set up his highest damage character? There is. So he'll throw that one in for 20 from Vids Palette. Raji for Spheris. Makes it all the way through. You see the big difference between the Stubborn Flame scores, especially when they're on lower damage exiles, like this, just 10 damage from a Cur plunge, and then Spheris going in for 25 from his Imp, and that just, it's 2.5 scores for iRotor compared to 1 for Spheris. Just the power of Stubborn Flame on some occasions. This time it's just 15, but Spheris will take that from his Cur throw. It does mean that, in a way, Spheris would like to stay behind iRotor for as long as possible to benefit as much as possible from that Stubborn Flame. Obviously, at some point, we'll need to make that decisive move to pass him, so that Spheris is the victor and not iRotor, but as soon as that happens, suddenly Stubborn Flame deactivates, and one of Spheris' most powerful abilities is no more. Such is the nature of Stubborn Flame, just such a counterintuitive skill in a way, rewarding you for being behind. And well, now Spheris is no longer behind. Does follow up with a quick Cur throw there for 13, but as we were just saying, iRotor now at full damage. So suddenly this is doing 20. And this is not the situation Spheris wants to be in, just barely in the lead. Now, certainly dropping iRotor down to 2, Spheris will take that. Maybe it won't matter at this stage, although it does mean that technically this is a sudden death match. It would need to be full damage from Vids Palette, but that is enough for iRotor, whereas for Spheris, anything would do. Does that mean iRotor forces the issue, stalls until he can get Vids Palette back, and everything must go through Vids Palette, or is iRotor willing to settle for a lower damage score? Well, here is Vids Palette, and there is the decisive score, so it is iRotor who takes the win.
They somehow managed to scrape by despite their adversaries' efforts.
GG.
The rite is ended.
Well played, you two. So like in that example right there, had Spheris not scored as much, would have been able to withstand that hit if it were just 20 damage from Vids Palette, but as soon as Stubborn Flame no longer active, suddenly iRotor had enough damage to finish the job.
Until the stars align.
We'll head on back let us know if there's anything we'd like to do for our next match. Oh, let me actually change it. Is Chastity's the team you want? I wrote her.
Yes.
Okay, let me change you. I forgot to do that. Okay. Anything we're looking for between our players in this one, or we just gonna leave it up to them to go with whatever they'd like? Seeing nothing, so why don't we get our next match started? Oh.
The chastity?
I hear the water, and that means, of course, we find ourselves on the boat, or the Fall of Solium. It does sound slightly different, but it does also have a watery-like effect.
Who shall conduct
No
the
requests, so up to the players to approach this match however they see fit, and there certainly are some arena-specific approaches that they could take here. As for whether they opt to do that, only time will tell.
Triple sap.
It will be a nutrition stick Palmas with a little bit of rekindling.
exile?
Canned Singularity on an imp in the first spot for Spheris.
You're actually doing triple sap.
Full rekindling on a quick throwing Volfred. Don't worry, it's technically not quarterback Volfred. That is allowed. This one's okay. Though it is double sap, and the rekindling is adding up here. Currently sitting on 60 on iRotor's side.
Exile.
Webbed Lanthorn, or excuse me, Prayer Beads on Zoxiana for Spheris in the second spot. Also be Zoxiana. Also Prayer Beads, and it is in the last spot for iRotor. Last selection for Spheris. That will be a Scribe Rock Snadra. So here we go.
Now
Players
begin.
choosing their preferred teams on the boat. We saw Spheris take a bit of a roller coaster ride with the Imp, although it didn't amount to much. In fact, in the meantime, iRotor blinks in, I think courtesy of the Nutrition Stick, with Palmas.
There.
Does, of course, mean Palmas is now gone in this round. iRotor has it back, and maneuvers around Snadra and in here for a 20 damage Harp Plunge. And did have Prayer Beads on Zoxiana, so Zoxiana still available in this round. But instead, it's back with Volfred, and he is back plunging here, this time not directly in from the blink, but soon thereafter. Puts on the finishing touches. versus Oxiana. This is Iroders. In fact, did they cancel each other out? No, Sphera still has his Oxiana. She's blocked here. Fell Swoop breaks through at least temporarily. Again, the Oxianas at least temporarily cancel each other out. Eventually, though, Spheris does manage to plunge here for 20. He has Prayer Beads on his Zoxiana as well, so she's back here in this round. There's the Can Singularity activating, and it does at least slow Iroder, although he has an opportunity here for an uncontested Sap throw. It's good for 25, that's of course not enough. But it does mean that one score very likely would do the trick for Iroder, regardless of what form that score might take. Spherius, though, in possession, doing the best he can to prevent that from happening. Nearly makes it in with his Zoxiana. Well timed on the shield play there from Iroder. Well done with the Can Singularity dispossession, though. Oh, for Spherius, suddenly right next to the Pyre. Throws that one in for 15. Spherius activates the Can Singularity by going through the portal. Zoxiana, Snadra, both eyeing the portal. But here is the ever so quick Palmus with the nutrition stick. Zoxiana blocked here. Has it back. In fact, no one defensively in position here to stop Spherius. Everyone was gone. So that means uncontested Prayer Beads plunge for Spherius. Loses most of his team there. But with Sacred Bond can bring them back fairly quickly. Iroder, though, in possession, but goes down to the Fell Swoop. There's Full Fred. Oh, and he's quick with the throw, and in doing so, seals the deal.
They brushed aside their adversaries without too much trouble.
GG.
The rite is complete.
Well played, you two. Alright, well, let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
I think I'd like the Chastity Aura color the most of all.
Honestly,
That's really good.
I'm forgetting, despite having just watched them. Is it yellow or is it pink?
It's pink.
Okay.
Like this pink, but this wine, pink
It's
to
like
wine
the-
red. Right.
It looks like
The
that.
color right here on the flame, right?
Is it that?
Yeah,
That
it's
red?
better. I think this is a bit redder than in game. It's like it's like
It's this color, but it's more
pinkish
transparent.
wine red in
Yeah.
game. And it looks really, really good.
Well, let us know if there's anything we'd like to see for the next one. And Iroder, let me know if you need to head out soon.
I couldn't do the stuff tomorrow as well, but I'll play a couple more stuff.
I don't want to be a bad influence.
Procrastinators,
I've worked like
Right.
on weekend now, like probably more than 6 hours each day. So it's
Well,
fine.
that does sound like a lot, but at the same time, it's one thing for us to facilitate you taking a break. It's another thing.
No, I actually need a break. Like now that I've seen what I've done wrong, after I've like played a bit, then I can do it correctly, and then I'm finished for today.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any requests from chat here, so I think in that case, we'll just hop into our next match, have you guys take whatever you want.
Chastity.
We'll find ourselves in the book.
Take on the essence.
Another arena that may warrant
Conduct the rites.
Here.
some specific plans, maybe some curves.
Albert.
It's funny because you said we're in the book, and that's correct, but we're also on the book. So whichever you pick, it works. Anyway.
imagine if, whenever you had a match at the book here, anytime someone scores, it turns a page in the book. Like the book that everyone is standing on. You see a page flip.
Like, you see a page flip, and it changes where the walls are.
That would be
of
so
the
cool!
But it, like, you would need... It would need to not be too random, otherwise
Choose someone.
it's not
I think
cool.
there's some setups for the scribe trials you do.
Yeah.
I think we maybe planned to do it at some point, or had some version. Can probably do it with a simple script change. I may look into it when I have time, but no promises. Also, imagine, like some of the classes hold a book while in the ride, right? Imagine if, and they have it open. Imagine if on the book
Exile.
other exiles are playing while they're playing in the ride.
Yeah. I think the very first version of the book in the
Teaso.
tutorial is empty, right?
I think it might be. Very beginning
Yeah, I
of the
think
tutorial.
so.
Demon.
Alright. Well, we did see occur was it on both sides? But it's not as if this is about to turn into an all-cur match. We just saw a
I didn't
demon
pick
for
a cur yet.
Spheris. Okay, no cur for Spheris. He said yet, though. Read into that if you will. Does that imply
just
that we're about to
uncertainty.
see occur, perhaps? It's imp, it's demon.
If that's a specific request, I can play a cur.
No. I'm just, I'm just teasing you a bit.
What do we have?
Messenger in.
All right, so here we go.
The orb is taken.
Dalbert first to the orb for Iroder and first to plunge in for 20 damage.
All of the
Big
chastity
implosion there. Takes out the entirety of Iroder's team. Oh, and I was about to say, Spheris went big. Highest potential damage play, but at the same time, it's just a split second too slow there. Gave Iroder an opportunity to get a defender back into position. And suddenly, Spheris could score no more.
Quite a sour turn for the
Everyone down here.
was
Looks
right.
like the imps are coming back at roughly the same time.
another banishment.
Here is Vizpaleth. Of course, Spheris plunging in 30 damage plus 50% leech as well. So that's actually net 45 point play. Maybe that's why Spheris was so keen on trying to make that happen earlier. 20 damage plunge there from Iroder's Dalbert. Everyone down on Iroder's side with the infinite stamina. It does make Vizpaleth quicker, but Iroder did get Tizo back and was able to get the stop with him. Palmas for Iroder.
Why, that was all.
Down he goes. Iroder defenseless once again. Tizo, though, returns. Gets rid of Vizpaleth.
A second wind.
Spheris gets blocked. Was about to implode, but instead got banished.
Totally banished.
But then goes through the portal and takes out once again the remainder of Iroder's team. Eventually, Spheris is able to plunge for 30 damage plus 15 leech.
Now go.
Those plays. 2 net 45 point plays, that alone. pretty huge swing in Spheris' favor. Spheris, ooh, has extra damage on the imp, so that's 25. Rotor does have a sap and therefore may have some rekindling. Don't recall exactly how much it is. I think last time we saw one sap with maximum rekindling, the other with just 10. So I imagine there probably is at least some in play here, but might just be as little as 10. Of course, if there is no rekindling, then one score from Spheris could be all that he'd need to win this match. Spheris is defenseless, at least momentarily. Messenger Imp does return, though. Rotor in possession, moving in with Palmas. Big throw. Oh, it's off the mark. Not what Rotor wanted to see. So Rotor, continuing to apply pressure, has most of his characters pushed into Spheris' half of the arena. Unrelenting in that way, but if Spheris can get out from this siege, there would have been an opportunity to score on a relatively uncontested Pyre, but now Rotor has gotten some exiles back, has them in more defensive positions. Now, naturally, as soon as I say this, goes back into a more aggressive offensive position and does manage to capitalize on that with a 25 damage plunge from one of his imps. Ooh, and speaking of the imp play, Spheris puts a portal directly on top of Rotor's Pyre, and somehow, even after going through that portal with Vids, it's not enough for that to count. Instead, it's Rotor throwing this one in for 25. I think the portal was right on the edge of the Pyre, and it just so happened that Spheris was jumping through on an angle that did not mean passing through the heart of the Pyre, and instead it's even more from Rotor here. This time a Cur plunge. Unfortunately for Rotor, with no leech, still finds himself sitting on 15 Pyre life, which is definitely not as much as he would like to have at this stage. As we were saying, may have some rekindling, so may not be as dire a situation as it might first seem. But suddenly, all the momentum is swinging towards Rotor here. Of course, Spheris does have leech. If he can score with Vids, would get some Pyre life back. Then again, of course, that may be enough to win the match here. At which point the leech would be moot. Doesn't have to be Vids. It could be the imp, but there is rekindling. Confirmed it's 10. Does mean no leech, though, for Spheris, and suddenly we find ourselves tied. 10 Pyre life apiece. The rekindling has already happened here. So this truly is a sudden death match at this stage.
To each his own.
Would imagine any character in almost any situation would score for the winning amount of points. Is this it right here? Yes, it is.
The essence prevailed.
GG.
I thought for certain they would not.
Well played, you two.
Thus end this night's proceedings.
Alright, well, let's head on back.
Until the stars align.
And let us know if there is anything we'd like to see for the next one. Otherwise, of course, if not, we can leave it up to the players to go with whatever they'd like. That's also an option. Not seeing any requests right now. In which case, I take that to mean we will leave this one up to the players to set up their teams however they wish. This time at the Fall of Solium.
The essence. Welcome. Who shall conduct the rites?
nutrition stick on Palmus in the first spot for iRotor. It's Barker in the first spot for Spheris. Web Lanthorn Raji, that's iRotor's second selection. Quick throwing Raji is Ferris's second choice. Prayer Beads on Dalbert is what iRotor will take in his last spot. Whereas Spheris will take Messenger Imp with the Web Lanthorn as his final selection. So here we go. Dalbert tried to pass it over to Raji, but he got banished soon thereafter. iRotor through the portal that was created by Raji. Got blocked before we could make it all the way through into the opposing Pyre, though. Spheris has a very dangerous portal, not quite directly on top of the opposing Pyre, but it does create a great opportunity for him if he can win the orb back here. But iRotor is in possession, and with infinite stamina, oh my goodness, it's a never-ending hop curve. They truly can fly. I feel like we rarely see infinite stamina curves for whatever reason. Maybe it's just the ball of Solium being as large as it is made it a more pronounced effect, where truly iRotor was just hopping absolutely everywhere, the entire length of the arena. Oh, Spheris actually intercepts the sap throw there, I will admit. What with sap throws being unblockable from some ranges, I did not expect him to be able to do that. But it is now a Cur Plunge for iRotor. Hopping in for 20 there. Big exploding sapling play from iRotor's Palmus. And then iRotor follows up with another Dalbert Plunge for 20 here with Prayer Beads. He is back. Dalbert again. Loops around, but can't curl the run in tightly enough. The geometry just wasn't in his favor there. Dalbert again. This time blocked. Spheris recovers. Thinks about the portal. It is blocked to an extent by that sapling. Not so much anymore, though. And that means Spheris sets up this 15 damage Cur throw. Another big exploding sapling play for iRotor. Big exploding Cur play there from Spheris. iRotor through his portal. Infinite stamina once again on Dalbert. Here's the never-ending hops. But Spheris is unfazed. Does have a portal, Spheris does. It just doesn't take him very far. Does give infinite stamina, so there is still some reason to use it, but a little bit lackluster, positioning-wise at least. iRotor. Cur blocked a couple of times, ultimately banished. Spheris does make the portal a little more dangerous now, although iRotor is not too concerned about that portal anymore, as after having plunged in with his sap, the portal is reset. It was a nutrition stick Palmus, I believe, which is in part why he was able to do that. It does also mean that there is no Palmus in this round for iRotor. A little more room for Spheris to maneuver. My rotor back on the attack. Spheris stopped it. Thinking about countering, but Iroder sees the portal. Seemingly has it covered. Oh, but Spheris makes it through nonetheless. Waits for the numbing gust to wear off. That's not enough. Iroder has it back. And of course, if I haven't mentioned it already, one score from Iroder very likely could be all that he needs here. So Spheris does need to be careful. But maybe it's Iroder who needs to be careful, as that was a portal play that basically gave Spheris an instantaneous score. However, Iroder back to full strength. Palmas now returning. Here he is. Perhaps that is the key that Iroder needed, as with that, Iroder gets the winning score.
Their pyre burns, whilst that of their adversaries is but ash.
GG.
The ceremony is complete.
Well played, you two. Let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And let us know if there's anything we'd like to see for the next one. Otherwise, we can leave it up to the players. Not seeing anything right now, though. So in that case, I suppose we can hop back in. Go back to having the players take whatever they want here. In this next match, which will take place at the Glade of Liu. Or should I say, Liu.
Welcome. Who shall conduct the rites?
Quick throwing Palmas is Iroder's first choice. Same can be said for Spheris, although I think the masteries might have been slightly different there. I think Iroder took a little bit of rekindling, whereas Spheris did not.
Headwind.
Exploding Headwind is Iroder's second selection. Spheris opts for Exploding Lady River instead. Prayer Beads Dalbert. That's Iroder's last choice. Speedy Raji for Spheris.
Begin.
Both saps lead off by trying to place a sapling in much the same place. I suppose it's almost similar to having double saluting savage leads, where you expect both of them to salute at the very beginning of the round and probably cancel each other out by banishing each other. But here is Spheris throwing it in for 25 with that sap to get things started.
Oh, no.
Lady River. Down she goes. Almost for Iroder. Gets the throw off here, and it's good for 25.
Tis too close to call who shall oof.
It's too close to call who shall oof. I agree. With Dalbert. If at first you don't succeed, try again. It did work on the second occasion.
Ouch.
Prayer beads, he can try again in this round, but not as fortunate this time. Almost. Rotor just barely avoids the banishment, and that buys him enough time to get this throw off here for 25. Dalbert stopped just before he can score. Sferis explodes with Lady River. Rotor has it back, at least temporarily. Raji. Palmas.
Flame is stricken.
I did not even see him charge up that throw, it was so fast. Speaking of quick throws, oh, it's just off the mark for Rotor. And the stunning claim perfectly timed here for Sferis, and usually you would say maybe the Saps aren't really the characters you want to set up for that. They aren't quick enough to benefit from that. But with the help of the quick throw, it was just enough time for Sferis to get a 25 damage throw, and suddenly it would seem as though Sferis, at least with the right exile under the right circumstances, could finish this with one score, except I do believe that Rotor has 10 rekindling, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and that is not the first time that Rotor has been fractions away from getting a throw off. And there is bonus damage on that imp, so it would have been enough, but there is the aforementioned 10 rekindling, so now that means one score for Sferis may be sufficient. Whereas I don't believe Rotor has the means to get 30 damage in one round. Despite, well, Sferis, I don't believe has rekindling. So now with this score, that means we are tied. 10 Pyre life apiece. I don't think this is the first time we've seen it today between these two, but it is a sudden death match here. Any character could have sufficient damage. So who will it be that makes the decisive move? Sferis in possession, but just trying to escape from the siege Rotor was laying on him near the Pyre. Near his own Pyre, that is. Rotor now gets that sap throw on target, and in doing so, takes the win.
Their adversaries came ever so close.
GG.
The ceremony is complete.
Well played, you two. Alright, well, let's head on back.
Until the stars align.
And let us know if there's anything we'd like to see for the next one. If not, then of course we can always leave it up to the players to go with whatever they'd like. That is also an option. Seeing no requests here at the moment, we'll get back to the action.
The chastity shall take on the essence.
The cairn, this time.
Who shall conduct the rites?
Okay, let's mix this up a bit.
Oh. What does that mean for Rotor? Apparently it means power casting headwind.
Sap.
Quick throwing Palmas for Sferis. quick throwing Palmas or Iroder as well. And Singularity Raji for Spheris. Oris Scale Lady River is Iroder's last choice. Good old-fashioned Speedy Volfred. Final spot for Spheris. Big power cast there from my Rotor's Headwind, but between the Numbing Gust and also those hockey pucks, it did slow him down quite a bit. Did still manage to plunge in with him, though, before Spheris got any defenders back. It does, however, mean that now Headwind is gone in this round for Iroder. There is Spheris. Quick sap play there. It's a 22 damage throw.
Shall the essence press their luck, perhaps?
River. Lady River blocked. Spheris, so loses a couple of exiles there, in fact. Does have a portal he can use, but it doesn't take him far, and so hard to avoid that aggressive defensive play from Iroder. Although the Sap Team Shield does help a fair bit for Spheris, if nothing else. He's now reset his portal into a better position, except everyone defenseless. Spheris weathered the storm, now can use that portal. Actually willingly sacrifices it there, moving it back a little bit further in the process. Didn't get much out of that, though, as Iroder is back in possession. Here is Spheris going through the portal, gets banished, but does move the portal a little bit closer. Once again, everyone down on Spheris' side. Did temporarily prevent Iroder from sprinting, jumping, throwing, or using any other special abilities, but waited just long enough until he was able to throw again, and with a quick sap throwing ability, did manage to get the full 25. Now everyone down once again for Spheris. Well shielded. Sap Team Shield. Iroder goes down to an exploding sapling, has it back with Lady River, though, retreating. And trying to find a gap in the defense.
Now to the flame. It has gone in.
Throws this one in for 15.
Wait, my
he lost his
Oh,
control.
yep, that doesn't look right.
I saw that.
Yeah, that looks
That's why
suspicious.
new one. It's ending the end of its life. Should be fine now.
Okay. Can you test it here at all, or do we need to actually load back in? Oh, there you go.
It's fine.
Okay, nice. All right, I'll give you a countdown. I'll go 3, 2, 1, go. And on go, I'll hit resume. 3, 2, 1, go. Wah! Another effective team shield there. Despite that, well, I was about to say, Spheris not able to capitalize, not able to do much with it, except then moved in with the other sap, and did get a quick throw in for 25. So Spheris has found himself in this situation quite a bit. Everyone banished. There have been some times when Iroder has not had enough time to score in those situations, slowed by the Numbing Gust, but that was not one of those times. Able to plunge for 20 with Headwind and actually leech 10 back as well. Spheris blocks and banishes Iroder's Worm. Moves closer with the Imp. It does get banished, creating a portal at roughly midfield. Oh, and Iroder gets a throw in there. Would have been enough to deplete all of Spheris' Pyre life, except that Spheris had 50 rekindling. But once again, Spheris defenseless, and once again it's Headwind. Slowly moseying his way on into the Pyre for 20 damage, plus 10 leech. Plunge. Big throw from Spheris. Good for 25, but this leech that Iroder has been using, it's starting to add up there. As even with that score, Iroder's still in the lead here. When Spheris didn't quite get the timing right on that implosion. Speaking of the leech, it's 10 more Pyre life for Iroder and only 10 Pyre life remaining for Spheris. We've already seen his rekindling, so this is it. One score for Iroder could be all he needs. Miss for Iroder.
And it is
The
done.
decisive throw.
The chastity prevail.
GG.
Perhaps they do deserve their freedom, after all.
Well played, you two.
The rite is ended.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Until the stars align.
We'll head on back here, but let us know if there's anything we'd like to see for the next match. Song request for Rage of Demons. We can certainly do that. Anything else? Pyre health 150. Oh. Okay. We could do that. Of course, that's fairly unusual, so be interested to see to what extent that affects how the players set up their teams and execute in the match itself. Anything else? Or will that be all? No talismans or masteries. Oh.
No way.
Well, that does change things quite a bit. This first word might describe the player's state of mind a little bit here. Why don't we hop in and see where we end up?
I think I'm a demon.
The chastity shall confront the essence.
Alright, well, it's the Spring of Jomir, which I do
Welcome.
believe, as per a
Who shall
recent
conduct
Right
the
Club
rites?
poll, was voted the most neutral of all the arenas. I don't think we defined what neutral means in that context, but for whatever that's worth, I suppose it means, in all likelihood, it may not influence the types of characters the players would like to use here. Of course, with no masteries, no talismans, we're talking about just the base classes. No special bells or metaphorical whistles.
Dalbert.
You can mouse over that that mastery button. I'm afraid it's not going to do anything, though. It was Dalbert in the first spot for Iroder. You can press the button, too. The
I'm
cursor will
trying.
move in a kind of strange way, but other than
Only
that,
press this button. Okay.
Exile.
maybe that's the secret recipe. Maybe Spheris has secretly unlocked the ability to use all the masteries.
What's even good?
Yeah, there are a few ways in which this match is probably a little outside of our players' comfort zones here.
Sandra.
It's a demon and a cur for Iroder. Worm in the last spot. For Spheris, it's a crone, a nomad, and the final selection for him will be a sap. So here we go. No masteries, no talismans, 150 starting Pyre life. Spring of Jomir. Rage of Demons is the song. And it is possible to score under these circumstances, even without any of those fancy abilities. Iroder threw the first one in for 15, now the second one he'll throw in here for 11. Who knows, maybe this is the niche that the Curs have always longed for. Just turn off all the masteries and talismans. Maybe they become the best class in the game.
The orb is up.
Just take away all the things that make the other classes good, in other words.
Now then.
Ooh, is there enough room here for Iroder's Worm? Yes, there is. It's 15 damage.
The orb is taken.
Forfeit. Down she goes. Back with Iroder now. Lady River banished, though. Oh, actually, a few banishments there. So Spheris defenseless. And an uncontested 15 damage throw opportunity for Dalbert. Snadra. Down she goes. Forfeit for Spheris. Now Snadra.
So fiercely fought.
Looking for an opening. Finds one.
Plunged into the
Jumping in here for 20. I feel like I've already seen maybe a couple of occasions where I've seen one or both players press a button or do something as if they had some masteries or talismans that they might have, under more normal circumstances, been able to benefit from, but have to remind themselves, perhaps, that no, this is just bare bones match here. Goes Dalbert. Iroder here with Vizpaleth. Locked and banished, though. Iroder almost able to wriggle away through with his worm. No such luck. Dalbert banishes the last defender. Oh, Orb inadvertently hits Spheris' Pyre, bouncing back out, and that may have just bought Spheris enough time to get the defenders back. Make a stop he would not have otherwise been able to make. Unblockable Crone Throw remains unblockable, except it was a little bit short on that occasion, I think, so Iroder still able to scoop it up. Oh, the aura, the cast, remained on the ground there just long enough that Spheris was still banished. Snadra looking for a way through, but Lady River making that easier said than done. Orfrid again trying to charge up an unblockable throw, but not enough time to do it for Spheris. Well shielded there from Spheris. And blinks in with the sap, just a tiny sliver of stamina, but that was all he needed. Of course, no prayer beads here for either player on any character, so the moment someone plunges, they will not be available for the next round. That means there is less defensive potential here for Spheris. More likely there to be room for Iroder to maneuver. Oh, for a brief moment there, Spheris was actually outnumbering Iroder, unlikely though that might have been. Iroder, though, in possession for much of this round. Spheris looking to change that, though. Put everyone down on Spheris' side. This was perhaps likely to happen at some point. Iroder, fortunately enough, got the orb back close enough to Spheris' Pyre that he had just enough time to get in range and charge up that throw before a defender came back, although there's a quick answer here from Spheris for a 25 damage prone plunge. As we were just saying, though, anytime you plunge is rather punishing. Snadra. Down she goes. Dalbert one side, Lady River the other, and it's Lady River who throws this one in. Good for 15.
The rite has nearly ended.
Forfeit. Banishes, oh, everyone. May have gone down in the process, but does just enough to set up Snadra here for a 20 damage plunge. Again, it's a plunge. Makes matters more challenging for Spheris here. Oh, that's not what Spheris was looking for with the shield.
GG.
GG.
The chastity prevail.
It would be like linger not as long. I think it would. Well, I'm not quite sure. It's like a trade-off because you get your aura back faster.
Thus end this night's proceedings.
All right, well, let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And let us know if there is anything we'd like to see for the next one.
Masteries.
Yeah, before we forget, why don't we turn these things back on?
And a Pyre dive.
Oh, yep, good call. So, of course, we'll go back to a standard match in which the players can take whatever they'd like, unless we have other requests here.
Also, if anyone wants to hop in, I can swap out.
Let us know if anyone is interested. I wrote her. He is volunteering to make room. Request for customize off. I don't think we've seen it yet today. So that can be arranged. That does cover most of the other stuff, so why don't we hop in here? Of course, it means randomized Exiles, Masteries, and Talismans. Won't even get to see what those things are in advance. Just gonna get thrown straight into the action here.
The chastity versus...
Normally this would be Iroder's home arena, but not today. For him, it's a Crone and double Cur. For Spheris, it's a Sap, a Worm, and a Cur of his own. Explosive Temper on Dalbert, so at least partially right side. Lucky Break on Spheris' Rookie, I believe. Shooting Star on Lady River. Which is not something you tend to see very often on the Worm throws. Banishments.
No mercy shown.
Whole bunch of banishments, though. That much is for certain. It is Spheris who gets us started with a 15 damage Worm throw.
The orb is taken.
Rookie. A little bit of a wall bounce there, ever so slightly. Rookie trying to escape from Udmilda. Oh, look at that! Valiant return from Lady River, and valiant it was indeed as she plunges in here for 15. You say you're listening to Pyre OST. I'm saying this is Will the Scribe, so an extra damage there with Astral Eye. It's 28 in total. That was an interesting one. Spheris missed the intended target, the Pyre, but did get a banishment in the process.
Glorious return! Oh, what's called?
The chastity's pyre now
And another Astral Eye score there. More bonus damage for
For
Iroder.
Krabby's mastery. I can never remember its name.
Oh. Guiding Light, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which cur is it on?
My main
Astral
core,
Striker.
but in exchange I don't have double jump with my Astral Striker.
So you're full right side.
I take issue with you referring to one of your curs as your main cur. What does that say about your second cur? Everyone is down on our rotor's side, including both the primary and secondary cur. So opportunity for Spheris to throw that one in for 15. Big banishments there. In fact, I think it did get rid of everyone, but there's a valiant return in the process. Ooh, and for a second there, it looked like Spheris did just enough for the last second banishment, but didn't quite work out that way. Key opts to throw instead, but I wrote her in position to intercept. And there is the lack of additional jumps I was just talking about, but does have built-in prayer beads. Rookie versus Rookie. Rookie wins. Has the bonus damage. It's 30 rekindling. That means it's 10 for mastery and 20 from a talisman. You don't see that very often.
Oh no.
Oh
I
dear.
got locked in.
Spheris was stuck in the sap salute. Meanwhile, Rotor said, "Don't mind me as I plunge in here." So that was not his built-in prayer beads cur. So he is down one character here, though might not need all of his characters. Oh, nearly. The crone opportunity, the decisive score with the momentum, just sent Udmilda sliding into the sapling.
Dangerously close. Now to the flame.
Rookie, oh, ever so close.
What happened there?
Sapling is a nice little bonus for Spheris defensively. Otherwise, it was Rookie versus Rookie.
Ferocity unbridled.
Another timely sapling arrival. Oh, Spheris couldn't quite catch up, but did just enough to stop Iroda from scoring there.
Really?
Rotor with a few little wall bounces there. I think the first one was not intended. The second one probably was, though. Nearly made it in with Udmilda. For what, of course, at this stage would be the decisive score.
Switch to this.
And that throw does just enough.
The chastity prevail.
GG.
Their adversaries
I'm not quite sure. I
confidently
think
thwart.
both our teams were questionable.
The night is
I mean, that's the nature of customize off sometimes, of course. You don't know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you don't know what you have, even after having played for a little while, and it's probably not gonna be perfectly optimized, but you just make the most of what you have.
The only thing I
until
know
the
is
stars align.
Lucky Break on the Cur and Shooting Star on the Worm. The rest, whatever.
Alright, let's turn customize back on here. Let us know if there is anything we'd like to see for the next one, or if anyone does want to get in. I know Iroder was recently volunteering to swap out, so just let us know if anyone else is interested. But yeah, also getting rid of Rookie's mustache is a crime. Obviously, anyone who commits such a crime in the downside will be banished to the super downside.
To become a super exile or what?
That's a good question. If by that you mean Falcon Ron's assistant, then yes.
Nice, I guess.
Why is it even an option? To identify which people are and are not evil.
To give you the illusion of choice.
Perhaps.
Like the entire game, right? It says it shapes the story and everything, but just throwing the orb into the pyre, whatever else happens, illusion of freedom, illusion of choice.
Perhaps. Maybe all that matters is all that matters is the rite itself. Alright, well, as I said, let us know if there is anything we'd like to see here. Otherwise, if not, we can just leave it up to the players to go with whatever they'd like. That is also an option. I'm not currently seeing anything, so I think in that case, we'll hop back in.
The chastity.
And that's the
shall
sound of a
take
boat.
on The essence. Welcome. Who shall conduct the rites?
Alright, so all up to you guys to take whatever setup you prefer here. It's a nutrition stick palmus, right rotor. Vanishing throw Almer for Spheris.
Demon.
Speedy Vizpaleth in the second spot for Iroder. Top 3 classes? What, as in what do we think the top 3 classes are? Is that the question?
Everything but car.
I mean, in a way, it
I
does
think
seem like that might be
Marcos,
the consensus.
like Marcos' tier list was like Harp is slightly better than the rest. Everyone else is broken, and then Kerr is just good but not broken.
Exile.
I think that was the gist of it.
Zombie says it's Worm, Harp, and Crone in their book. Worm, Harp, Crone. I could see that.
Yeah, they're all broken in their own way. Like,
And that's why, in a way, it was interesting when we had that match that turned all the masteries and talismans off. It felt like, oh, this is maybe more like Pyre as Supergiant probably originally intended it to be played, before they, not they ever probably realized the extent to which we would discover all these obscure techniques and combos, but if they were to
at the
tune
same time,
in...
like, without masteries, imps without lesive nature, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
Savage without heightened reflex. Like, you can't even sprint normally.
Yep.
Just is like, come on. Without the first level masteries, most exiles, not all of them, but most exiles, they feel really unplayable, honestly.
In a way, oddly enough, I said it somewhat jokingly at the time,
Like,
but...
no double dash either on a demon.
Right.
It's rough, right?
You could almost make the case that No Mastery Kerr is one of the best No Mastery classes in the game.
Kerr's alright, but it has no double
Yeah.
jump.
Right, I mean, obviously every
Bro.
class has stuff that you'd really like
like
to
the
see.
best.
But it,
I mean, Harp has some mobility stuff that's missing, but it's fine.
yeah, I think
Worm
it's...
is good, and Chrono is also good.
We used to get the No Mastery requests more often. So back a few years ago, probably had a better feel for what tended to be the most effective choices in that situation. And at least at that point in time, I think Harp was pretty decisively in a class of its own. And Demon was seemingly at the back of the pack. But time has passed since then. Obviously, many of the techniques that people have mastered in the meantime have been based around various talismans and masteries, but even without those, there are probably still ways in which people can play a masteryless demon better than people were doing a few years ago. So I would imagine that if we were to see more zero mastery matches, that the class tier list would probably shuffle around relative to where it stood a few years ago.
Actually, no mastery demon, like in a no mastery match. Demon, you jump, you land near your own exiles to give them mobility.
Might actually be the best mobility you can get.
Maybe. Anyway, let's go.
It's just crazy enough. It might work. What scribe is savage? No scribe, but Kellimer rope collar was a savage.
Audacious, aren't we?
In other words, the bad guy, outside of the Titans.
The pyre has been scaled.
Rotor plunges for 30 here.
Yes.
Oh, gets banished. The banishing throw doesn't come to much, though. Oh, and we got a random Knights of the Sea here on the boat. That's cool. Just realizing. Gareth can't use any special abilities here, as everyone was banished on Eroder's side, but even with that being said, was just quick enough to make it in there for an uncontested score, or a largely uncontested score. Palmer gets the banishing throw there, gets a couple of banishing throws. Everyone is down, but as I was just saying, it does now disable most of Spheris' abilities. I wrote her with it back, but can't quite make it in with Palmas there. Interesting little boat magic there. In fact, perhaps a little too much for Spheris on that occasion, as it ultimately lent him into the sapling aura. That was interesting height from Almer on that occasion. You can see the long distance jumps on the boat from the savages, but they usually don't go that high up.
Good.
Palmas, Bright Rotor, gets the stamina back, tries to make the move, but enough of a wall of auras there for Spheris that Rotor couldn't break through.
Thoroughly banished.
Well, then you get into the hole as Rotor throws this one in for 29, not quite the maximum. You get into the whole, well, are nomads and savages technically kind of sort of the same thing, and it's a bit of an arbitrary distinction between the two of them. Maybe that's why there's, Golgothanian, but no savage scribe. That could be the reason, as we saw some pretty crazy boat magic there from Spheris.
Into the adversary's flame. Oh. The orb slips from your clutches.
Palmer gets the banishing throw off. Back with him here, but he goes down. In fact, both of the savages go down.
A rude predicament.
Everyone banished on Iroder's side. That means uncontested scoring opportunity for Spheris, and close enough to the opposing Pyre that didn't have to worry about his inability to jump or sprint. But oh my goodness, Gareth absolutely blasting off Team Rocket style there. Again, there's still more distance rather than height. A little bit of a combination of the two. As Spheris gets another 20 damage Savage Plunge there. Palmer banished the sapling with the throw, or at least that's what it looked like based on where he was aiming. That doesn't work though, in case that wasn't clear.
Exactly by the book.
Plunge for 20 on this occasion.
The Pyre Heart's adversaries gained an edge.
Ooh, I wrote her. knocks back the defender with the demon jump.
Flame-stricken.
That's what gets him enough time for the full 30 damage throw there from Vispaleth. It means one score might be all that Iroder needs. Spherus creates a dangerous portal, so if he teleports with his savages, doesn't really need that. More importantly, though, at the moment, Spherus is defenseless, and so with that Imp Plunge, Iroder is the
I get to
winner.
the philosophical point. It's very obvious why there's no Savage Scribe, because Savages and Nomads are the same people, but the Savages are those that are the outcasts, the deviants of society, so they're associated with the villain. Alright.
Until
There you
the
go.
next.
It makes
It's
sense.
Tate, who is not neurotypical. It's Alma, who, because he was adopted by a cur, is on the outside and does not fit in with proper society. Like, at least from the Commonwealth's perspective, right? And we don't know anything about Gareth, really. So,
He's
no
just
comment
cool.
there. But, like, it's no accident that Withdrawn have 2 Savages and not 2 Nomads, right?
Oh, that's an interesting point. Lore-wise, that makes sense. Never really thought of that.
Another thing I noticed is about teams and laws is the accusers. They start with nomads and then they have demons because they were there for too long.
Right, that's another point. You stay nomad, or you start off as a nomad, stick around on the downside long enough, and you will eventually turn into a demon. In fact, that is the case for Vispaleth, who was previously, originally, just Vispa at the start of the campaign.
Indeed.
Well, and became Vispaleth, the demon form, later on. And apparently there's some sort of hints of Lendl being close to becoming a demon as well by the end of the campaign, but I don't remember exactly what those details are. But let us know if there's anything we'd like to see for the next match here.
It's probably gonna be my last game.
Ooh, okay.
Or my 2 last games if we need to.
Well, yeah, do we have anyone else who's looking to get in here? We've had these 2 guys in here for quite a while, and it sounds like Spherus needs to head out pretty soon. Iroder was volunteering to swap out not that long ago either. In which case, might be, if not, if we don't have anyone else, we might be getting close to the end of the night. Not seeing anyone else raising their hand at the moment. So, in that case, if it is just you 2 guys, do you think we need to go into the Liberation right here, or do we have time for one more before that? How are we doing?
2 more sounds fine.
What?
No, you can choose. I don't have a preference.
I would prefer directly the liberation rights.
Directly into Liberation is your preference?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that then. Yeah, last call if there is anyone else who'd like to get in. Otherwise, I think we may be headed to our final rite of the night, our Liberation rite. Which would mean, if we are to do that, that we would not take any requests for this one. We just have both players take their preferred teams to finish things off in style. I'm not seeing anyone else volunteering right now, so I think we will do just that.
Ark exiles, you stand upon the fall of Solium. Here you may yet prove your worth. We soon shall see who is the most deserving.
The Savages are those that are rejected by society. No comment of why they are.
The essence, stand prepared.
Societies do not tend to have a great track record with this.
Who shall conduct?
Yeah, and Kalim Rope Caller specifically, you could say that. But as for the other savages in the campaign, like Iroder said, societal outcasts, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're good or bad per se. Alright, we'll as I said, this will be our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. No requests from chat. Both players just taking their preferred teams to finish things off in style, and it is a quick throwing Soxiana in the first spot for iRotor. Quick throwing Palmus in the first spot for Spheris. Speedy Vizpaleth here for iRotor. Second selection for Spheris, and it's Prayer Beads Gareth. Well, speaking of the Savages, we have a couple of them here. It's Prayer Beads Almer in iRotor's case. Final selection for Spheris will be a speedy Vizpaleth. So alright, here we go. Our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. iRotor on the left representing the chastity, Spheris on the right representing the essence. Best of luck to you both.
GG.
And there it is.
GG.
Chastity proved
GG.
their worth. As for their adversaries, they did not.
Well played, you two.
Thus ends the liberation rite.
Alright, well, as we were saying, that was our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So thank you, everybody who participated in the rites today, and everyone who gave us the requests in chat as well. With that being said, I will hop out of Discord, but I'll catch you guys
Yeah.
next
Thanks for the
time.
games and thanks for hosting.
GG's, guys. Catch you later. Alright, well, let me just double check. I think they've both escaped the downside, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have. iRotor has. Spheres has. Okay. Perfect. As I was saying, yeah, that was our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So thank you to everybody who participated in the rites and everyone who gave us the requests in chat as well. This was, of course, Pyre Community Rite Night, and if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then the best way to do so is by joining the Rite Club Discord server, which you can do by clicking on that link right there. My name is Lids. I'm hosting these Rite Nights, and my streaming schedule is kinda, sorta, a little bit subject to change because we currently have 4 games that we're trying to squeeze into 3 days, is basically the gist of it. But let's call it Thursday/Friday, we're doing Path of Exile 2. Then usually Friday would be Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer, unless we're making room for Path of Exile 2 on Fridays. Then Saturdays, that's Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and obviously Sundays is this, Pyre multiplayer. But if you haven't done so yet already, then of course you can hit the subscribe button to more easily stay up to date on all things Lids. But actually the best way to do that is by joining my Discord, which you can do by clicking on that link right there. But that's going to be it for me for tonight, so thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll catch you next time.